What's going on, guys? Welcome to Beyond Politics, episode 13. This is an in-depth conversation where we bring our perspective to relevant political topics of the day. I'm your host, Jared, and with me, as always, is Seth. And today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump Jr. and treason.
Or not at all, maybe.
Maybe not at all.
Who knows? That's what we're going to find out today, or at least try to find out, or at least kind of trying to push the conversation forward on, is this treason? What actually happened? Because that's what I think is really hard to figure out with all that you've been seeing around the major news networks is I don't believe you guys when they're saying that this is like the final nail in the coffin for Trump. Like, this is like the worst thing ever.
Impeachment, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. But so anyway, we're going to start off this with kind of the facts that we know. So Donald Trump on July 11th tweeted out. I love how that's like an official news thing. Like,
it is.
But this really important.
The preferred go-to
is a tweet.
Exactly.
Gosh, it's such a weird world. Anyway, so on the July 11th, he tweeted out an email chain he had with him and Rob Goldstone, which kind of laid out all of the information about this Russian meeting, that supposed Russian meeting he had, whatever. He said he did this to be totally transparent. There is also now we've kind of heard that the New York Times is prepping an article with these emails ready.
Yeah.
So we think that he kind of tried to get ahead of the story.
So do you really get credit if you release it knowing it's going to come out initially anyway?
Well, it's his own. I don't know.
I think it's smart. It was smart on his part to.
I guess it was
to say that he brought it forward instead of it being leaked to the New York Times and then them bringing it.
Right,
out.
and it's kind of funny. You see, the New York Times, the head writer of the story that they were supposedly prepping, was like, "I've been working on this for months." And he just tweeted it out. Like, I've been gathering sources, verifying information, getting these emails together for months, and he just tweeted it out. So I think that's kind of funny. But anyway, Jared, what did these emails show us?
Yes, so this happened when Rob Goldstein reached out to Donald Trump Jr., and he said this in an email. He said that he had information that would, quote, incriminate Hillary and her dealings with Russia and would be very useful to your father. This is obviously very high level and sensitive information, but is part of Russia and its government's support for Mr. Trump. So that was something that the media was all over, and people were all over saying this is evidence that the Russian government clearly supported Trump during the election. So It kind of, ties in the whole Russia conspiracy, blah, 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 interacting in the election, all that kind of stuff. He responded with, thanks, Rob, I appreciate it. If it's what you say, I love it. Especially later in the summer, kind of implying that they'll wait to use that ammunition later on during the
election
campaign.
cycle.
Yeah, in the election cycle. So in the emails, they're specifically talking about him meeting with a Russian lawyer, and her name is Natalia Veselinskaya.
Nailed it.
Very Russian name, but pretty appropriate there. Of course, it is worth noting that she has claimed that she is not connected with the Kremlin or the Russian government at all, and the Russian government has also denied this.
And that's another thing I think I've kind of gotten a little bit, like it's gotten the media up in a fringe, is in this email she's labeled as a Russian attorney. Then she's also labeled as a Russian government attorney in the email chain. Mm-hmm. They both denied it. I mean, I don't know what else we ran on. I think it might have just been like a miscommunication or miswrite.
I haven't found any information that directly links her to the Russian government anyways.
Right. So it could have just been a slip up on the email.
But it makes it kind of suspicious since the fact that he emailed Donald Trump Jr. saying that it's the Russian government showing support for him as a matter of this attorney wanting to meet with them. Kind of makes it a little suspicious, but yet they both denied it, obviously, and I haven't really found any solid information that links the two. Mm-hmm. But it should be said that Jared Kushner and Paul Manafort were in on this meeting. It was the three of them, Donald Trump Jr., those two, and this Russian lawyer who supposedly met and had this meeting. It comes out that Donald Trump Jr.'s initial claim was that nothing really came out of the meeting. His father didn't know about it. Apparently, Jared Kushner left like 2 minutes into the meeting because it didn't. Nothing really came about, and apparently the Russian lawyer said that Paul Manafort was on his phone for the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. But this is all, again, if you trust their word on it. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Of course, after this story broke, outrage ensued. You have Tim Kaine here, if anyone remembers who he is. He was the vice president who ran on Hillary Clinton's ticket, and he had this to say about the matter.
You think this is treason?
The investigation, it's not, nothing is proven yet, but we're now beyond obstruction of justice in terms of what's being investigated. This is moving into perjury, false statements, and even into potentially treason.
So I hate when people just throw around words like treason.
Again, these are weighted words. Treason is a big deal.
Well, treason, if you commit it, if you're convicted of committing it, you get put to death. with treason comes along with the death penalty.
Yep.
So the Constitution very clearly lays out what constitutes as treason in Article 3, and it says, quote, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. So we're definitely not at that point at all.
Definitely not treason.
Definitely not treason, yeah.
So what we have emails between Rob Goldstone and Donald Trump Jr. with a meeting that he was told that this Russian lawyer had information that could hurt Hillary, and he was like, okay, cool, I'll take the meeting. Now it's come out kind of that it was kind of a bait and switch. Donald Trump Jr. has come out and said that no meaningful information was given during the meeting. Mm-hmm. It was kind of she wanted to get them into the room to talk about other stuff. They didn't really have anything on Hillary. Now, here's where it becomes what do people think about it? Is like we said, I don't really think treason's on the table.
No, treason is off the table.
Right. Now, Trump Jr. says it's all under the guise of opposition research, and that's completely legal. You know, the idea of researching what would be like bad points about who you're running against. You want to research their weak points.
Want to get dirt on them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, everyone does it. Yes,
it's the game of politics.
Yeah, if it's your own people doing it, just looking up things that are public knowledge, it's not bad. It's not treason. It's not anything. It's just kind of being a good politician, maybe bringing up stuff you shouldn't bring up, but whatever. I mean, just to win the vote.
You can talk about the ethics and the morality of it later, but strictly talking about the legality of the standpoint, it's not necessarily legal. But where it does get into some dicey territory is with soliciting.
Right. So now some people have brought forward, specifically I saw the article on Vox, and I don't usually quote Vox, but I thought that the article itself laid out and quoted a law governing foreign contributions to U.S. campaigns. So it says, a foreign nation shall not directly or indirectly make a contribution or a donation of money or other thing of value or expressively or impliedly promise to make a contribution or donation in connection with any federal, state, or local election. So, that's just saying, we can't be influenced, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I was kind of wondering, did Russia influence this election? Now, where it gets kind of dicey is where it also goes on to say that no person shall knowingly solicit or accept or receive from a foreign nation any contribution or donation prohibited by this law, right? So he said he didn't receive anything. Nothing really came of the meeting, but the solicit part, I think there might be some gray area there, because if you look up the definition of solicitation in regards to this law, it says solicitation is an oral or written communication that, construed as reasonably understood in the context in which it was made, contains a clear message asking, requesting, or recommending that another person make a contribution, donation, transfer of funds, or otherwise provide anything of value. Long way to say any kind of communication hoping that something's going to come of it could maybe be thought of as solicitation. So I think treason's off the table. Did he break this law? I don't know. And I think that it would be really hard to hold this up in the court, so I don't think anything will come of this at the end of day.
It'll just be a lot more smoke and stuff that's going on. Maybe a little bit of fire to this one, though, because, I mean, before, if you would have, talked to me 24 hours ago or before the story broke, is there really meat and bones to the Rush-Trump collusion thing? I would say no, it's mainly smoke, no fire. This, unfortunately, has brought kind of a whole new level to that whole discussion, right? And that narrative. It's not condemning or necessarily damning for Trump himself, because, like he said, Trump didn't know about it, according to Trump Jr., but it brings... the media, it brings tons of baggage in there and more reason for the media to be on this story nonstop and just for more headlines to be put out there, right, about Trump, Russia, all that kind of stuff.
Right. And now we do know for a fact that Donald Trump Jr. is a liar. Or at least has lied, because we have a statement back in March that he made in regards to allegations of meeting with Russians during the election. He said, quote, "Did I meet with people that were Russian? I'm sure I did, but none that were set up." Well, in the emails, we can clearly see that he set up a meeting with a Russian lawyer.
Yeah.
He met with Russians. Was it a big deal? I don't think so. Nothing really came of it. But, I mean, the statement, it's false. He did meet with a Russian. He did know it was set up. So, in that sense, he has lied. Of course, if lying was a crime for a politician, we wouldn't have any politicians.
Very true.
So I think the lying part isn't necessarily as big of a deal. You know, I mean, everyone already assumes most politicians are liars, so nothing new there.
But I mean, it's interesting because it really comes down to, I think that, you know, if you can kind of decide that the legality isn't really an issue here, which it's definitely a gray area, it'd be very hard to uphold in court that the law was broken. As far as the evidence that we know now, it kind of gets into the discussion of the morality and the ethics of the situation, right? Because there's stories where Trump came out recently, it was today at the time of the recording, and said that anyone would have taken this meeting.
Right, so Trump has come out in support of his son and said that, well, you know, everyone would have taken that meeting. I mean, it's just part of politics. He said politics isn't as pretty as you think. And I think that's probably true.
There's truth
I think
to that.
most people, especially if you're trying to win a presidential election, you're going to try to get any help you can get, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think most people would, but I think that it's dangerous to kind of completely... I mean, I know it's where we are now, but I hate to think that politics is just full of no morals and no values and no ethics at all, right?
I have a tough pill for you to swallow, Jared.
You.
It is full of no morals or values or ethics. No, but yeah, I agree. It's a sad state.
It's interesting because if you look back at Al Gore, who I'm no fan of at all from me, you know, I'm not a fan of him at all, but if you look back in the 2000 election, he actually got a hold of President Bush's playbook, and he ended up turning it over and not using it at all. So I think that that's really interesting, and I think that people, especially on the right, need to look at it, and if the situation were reversed and Hillary Clinton met with Russians to attempt to get dirt on Donald Trump, people would be outraged.
Probably,
because this kind of stuff has happened before with Hillary Clinton in Ukraine, working with them to try and
discredit Trump.
Yeah, to discredit Trump. So, I mean, this kind of stuff happens. It's the nature of politics. But really, where this discussion ends, or where it begins, is we turn it over to you guys, and what do you think about it? Is it a problem to you? And really, my question that I would pose is, how far can the Trump administration or Trump campaign go, in your opinion, to defeat Hillary Clinton, right? Because a lot of people are defending it as, oh, well, she did it too, or, oh, it's Hillary Clinton, she's terrible, we had to win. So where's the line, right? Because inevitably there has to be a line, right? You're not going to kill someone to beat Hillary Clinton. So what's the line? Where does it happen?
Yeah, and I hate the argument that, oh, she did it, so it's okay. It's like, that's an irrelevant argument. Like, oh, that's like being like, oh, it's okay to murder someone because that guy also kills people. It's like, no, if she did it, that she should be held to the same standard.
Exactly.
And both be wrong. I mean, if she did this, I mean, I'd probably be like more mad at it, but I would like, you just need to break down the information we have. And at this point, like we've been saying for months now, it seems, is there's not enough information to come to any conclusion that there's any legal wrongdoing between Russia and Trump. You know?
In today's inflammatory media, waiting is the hardest thing to do. But really, you have to kind of wait until all the facts come out before you make all of your judgments on it. Right now, as the facts are at this time, there's nothing really legally that can convict Trump Jr. or the Trump campaign.
Because what we know is he met with the person. No information was given. Did he go expecting information? Sounds like it. Didn't get any. That's where that solicitation kind of gets weird. We know he lied about meeting with Russians. Does any of that amount to Russia owning our election? I don't think so. The Russian government has denied any connection with her. Again, I don't know how much I would trust the Russian government to tell the truth.
I would not.
But, I mean, for what it's worth, that's all we have, you know?
Yeah.
And I would love for more information to come forward. If it makes it 100% clear, great. More information is always better.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with that. But right now, as it stands, I think again...
It's bad politically, right? It doesn't look good politically, but as far as the legality of the situation goes, there's nothing really too condemning at this point.
Not only that, I think the media is choosing another hill that they don't need to die on. Yeah. Choose your battles. I mean, I don't think anything's going to come of this. You're not going to get Donald Trump Jr. in jail because of this. You're not going to get Trump impeached because of this. Could it be parts of maybe getting impeached later on that they want? Maybe, but you're just going to come off, I think, as people are just going to not listen to you more and more, there's only so many times you can call treason, nail in the coffin. This is the final thing, Trump and Russia.
Only so many times, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's kind of where we're going to wrap up this video. We wanted to kind of bring you the facts and then bring you our perspective on it and let us know what you think about it. Did he commit treason? Did he not? Does this bother you or does it not? Do you feel betrayed? Let us know in the comments section below. Guys, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give us a thumbs down because, you know, we just love criticism. Yeah.
We just love criticism.
But yeah, guys, be sure and check us out. Again, we will keep you guys updated on this story. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and remember, stay informed.